Soapbox Wisdom. We're going to be talking about membership organizations. Okay. Maybe you're somebody that says, I don't join if there's a membership fee. But before we get started on this wonderful discussion, I want to remind you, our listeners, to like, comment, share this episode with your community so that they can benefit also. Because if you're listening, you must find something interesting about our show. So let's get started, Barbara, on this subject of membership organizations. I just jotted a few notes down on this, and this came up for me because I'm hearing from, well, some people say that membership organizations are okay. Some people are saying, "Oh, I don't join if there's a membership fee," but I think there's a lot of things to consider uh, about whatever organization you're looking at because there's so many different types. When we think about it, we can join something within our own industry. For myself, I'm not quite sure what that one would be. Because the one that comes to mind is like HR people. There's, the SHRM for HR professionals. You can join something that is predominantly about networking, but there's other benefits, and we'll get into that also. You can join a service-based organization in your community. So there's so many different types of things to be joining. What How have you felt over the years? How well, we know each other, from being in a women's organization that was actually international, but I'm wondering, I don't know, if I ever asked you, Barbara, what other types of organizations have you been involved in?
So actually, increasingly, it seems more and more, and they hit a lot of the categories that you've described. Um, so when I was corporate and continuing into my independent consultant days, I was engaged in communications organizations. And I retained several of those memberships. Not always are there meeting involved, although these days there can be Zoom meetings. But so much of those organizations are even come through the benefit that you receive when you get newsletters from them. Their opportunity to go to special meetings or seminars. So there's professional development and training and development opportunities in those organizations. Um, when I got serious about joining organizations, I gravitated towards the ones that are billed as networking organizations where you meet other people. But what I find in all of those, there are so many fringe benefits, either directly because the organizations do have offshoots or special programs, special meetings that provide professional development opportunities, and or just by knowing lots of people, you truly get to learn so much. And when you leave a lot of these meetings, you leave energized and ready for your day. And if you're a work from home person and you're in your home office by yourself, that contagious energy that you take from the meeting and bring to the quietness of your home office really pays dividends.
Oh, yeah, when you say that, Barbara, that just brings up memories of the almost 5 years I was going to a weekly meeting, and it was probably almost 20 miles from where I live, and every Tuesday morning, I'd be driving out there, and I can recall many times thinking, "Oh, why am I doing this?
Yes.
Why am I going? Yeah, I'm doing this every week, everything." But when I would leave on the way, it'd be like, "Oh, I'm so glad I came." Like you said, you get energized. If nothing else, you get energized to go through the rest of your day. If it's a breakfast meeting, if it's an early morning meeting,
And a lot of them are, right?
right. Yeah, yeah. But I actually left the organization when I didn't feel that I was getting anything from, and again, there's multiple things to be getting from any membership organization, but when you come away from several meetings of like, I didn't really get anything from it, then maybe it's time to leave. But when somebody's looking at an organization, I think, Barbara, that one thing that they're looking at is who's heading this organization. Is it an individual? Is it more of I'm not even sure of the right words of like a board versus an individual owner, because some, well, like when it comes to networking organizations, I think have gotten started from an individual. And I guess you would say it's their brand. It's their organization. And yes, they are at the top and they're reaping some monetary benefits from it. But then there's those other organizations that are more governed by a board, and I don't believe there would be an individual at the top that's reaping the benefits. But I think people tend to look at that, especially with the individuals. I know, these are things I've heard over the years of, not wanting to pay money to be a member of an organization when they feel they can get those benefits from other things that are free. And
Well,
like I say, there's so many different benefits. Usually, I think when there is a membership fee, you're looking at something that probably is national or international, and there's other chapters of it. And I believe most of those types of organizations that you can benefit by attending any of those meetings, or a database of all the members. That's a big thing with some of these organizations. You have a database that you can reach out to all the members. Not too many people use those databases, but they do exist. um, but we have to look at all of these things and not just base our thoughts on, well, I don't want to pay a membership fee. I can get as much as I need, from something else that I don't have to pay a membership fee for. Maybe you're not looking at all of the benefits. I don't know.
well, it's like anything else. When you pay, you suddenly have skin in the game.
Mhm.
So it gives you a mandate, perhaps, to be more of an active participant. And the one thing I find with any organization that I belong to, and by the way, each one that I do belong to now does have a membership fee. The fees are are differently
Mhm.
structured, different amounts, but they all have fees. And definitely when you have skin in the game, you should say to yourself, I hate shoulds, but realistically, I know I tell myself, I want to get something out of this organization. I have to put something into it. So, what does that mean? It oftentimes means volunteering for a position. I'm on the board of directors of my Chamber of Commerce, for example. I was president of my BNI group, and I've served in other capacity from visitor host through mentor coordinator, which I currently am, to education coordinator. So you are giving something to the organization
Mhm.
and it enables you to get something out. And there is a secondary benefit to that. Be- because these organizations are networking organizations, most of them require you at some point or another, if not all the time, to stand up and be counted, to say each week or each month or at every meeting, you know, this is what I do. So people get to know who you are and what you do. And there's something very beneficial to that. I was just talking recently with someone who said to me, I don't like to talk about myself. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And I really do get that. But, and I know this is the storyteller in me, but I do feel that the more you learn to share your story, the more opportunity it enables you to step back from that story and to say, wow, that's me.
Mhm.
And there's something very special in that because you need that kind of certainty if you're going to go forth and promote your business, promote your brand, and grow in that business.
Well, and I think that that's a good point to make when you're joining something, or maybe it's just an organization that's networking and there's no membership fee. But when you're coming together and you're doing, oh, I want to get clients. I want to meet people. Well, the secondary benefit of this is the professional development because you need to speak up for yourself. And all of these platforms are great sources for professional development. Yes, you can join something strictly professional development, but again, when you're joining something that has a primary reason like networking, the professional development is secondary. One, just, you know, telling people what you do, but then also most of those organizations have speakers that you can learn from so
Oh,
that you don't have to go out and gain that knowledge somewhere else. You can gain the knowledge right there. And again, big benefit. And again, so gain the knowledge from this person that's speaking, but then also you become the speaker. And really
no better way to promote your business, right?
exactly. So many people wanna hide behind being online and doing that social media thing, making funny posts and thinking, "Oh, this'll attract people to me." It's when you think about your best clients, maybe, you have gotten some online through a website and everything, but I'm willing to bet a lot of them are coming because they've heard you speak. I know that is for me personally. People hear me, they see me, um, and wanna talk to me and find out how I can help them. But then again, all of these organizations are totally different, and I'm not promoting being in a membership organization versus not. I just wanted to, like, put it out there that you really do have a lot of things to look at, and one thing I wanna bring up though, Barbara, is that I understand what it takes to keep a meeting going, keeping an organization going. There's a lot of moving parts. And even if it's just a once a week or once a month meeting where maybe you have to find out how many people are going to show up so you can tell the location how many seats to have. Maybe you have to schedule a speaker and make sure that speaker is ready to go. Maybe, you have to be sending emails out to everybody on the list to say, "Hey, these are all time consuming things that even in a free situation, somebody's got to do it." Somebody has to make sure all these moving parts are happening. So why shouldn't they get paid? Why shouldn't they make a little money off of the endeavor? Just saying.
Well, a couple of things about that. So, in the organizations that you pointed out, where there is a person who founded the organization and grew the organization, and that person is the brand of the organization, um, because they have built that organization, expanded or grown the membership, and ultimately they've been very successful in business, they kind of become the value setter and the ideals that everybody emulates. And there's something to be gained from emulating. But the
Mhm,
other piece of what you said, you ticked off a number of different functions that make even one meeting
mhm,
in an organization run. Ideally, you have a group in which more than one person is assuming responsibility. So it's a shared
mhm.
responsibility. And That shared responsibility idea, I think, ties in very directly to culture. We talk so much about culture in big organizations. What is the culture of this corporation or that? But everything from your community service organization to an organization with chapters in different areas of your state or around the country or even around the world, what is the culture? And
Mhm.
what is the culture of your particular chapter? Because when you create a culture, you bind people together. And when you bind people together, you give them a sense of being valued. You give them a sense of being recognized, which, by the way, recognition in these organizations is extremely important. It's a go out and make someone feel 10 feet tall every day. It's
Mhm.
so good to be recognized and say, thank you so and so for arranging the golf outing, or thank you so and so for agreeing to be president this year. Those are very special things that builds culture, that builds self-confidence and commitment, builds certainty. It's very feel good. So we're talking about things in these organizations that are real meat and potatoes of doing things right in your business, to the soft touches of energy and feeling good about yourself, which is all part of the engine that drives good business.
Absolutely, Barbara. And yes, thank you for that thought about, creating that culture. I hadn't thought about it that way. And yeah, when you can get various people involved to take on different responsibilities, that's when the magic happens in an organization. You have to be careful though of making sure that when somebody says they will do something, they fully understand what that really means.
And that they got to do it, right?
Exactly, exactly, and the person that's managing it all, doesn't wanna have to keep after everybody to make sure things are done. The well-oiled machine is going to reap most of the benefits. It's just gonna be better for everybody all around, and I have one I don't know, I have one final thought. I don't know if you have how many more thoughts you have on this. I just caution when somebody says, "Yes, join the leadership team because when you're on a leadership team, people see you more and you're gonna get more business," and all these things. Every organization says that. I caution our listeners, though, not to step up for that reason. Yes, you absolutely hope, you're gonna be more visible, you'll get more business, but it's not, well, I should say in my experience, it's not the benefit. The benefit is knowing that you are helping to facilitate a great experience for everybody in the organization, and that you're just a piece of the whole process, making it all happen, and ultimately helping to grow your business, helping other people, but for all of the above. But yeah, I how many organizations I've been in, and boy, that's what they tell you, yeah, it doesn't necessarily happen.
It's such a good point, Christine. And you cannot take a leadership position with an I feeling.
Mhm.
It's just like when people talk about networking. You are not going to a networking meeting to see how many new clients you can get. You are going to find out about other people. You are going to build relationships. When you take a leadership position, you are now committed to the organization, to making it stay the course, to making it better, to make people feel good about joining. That's first. You're serving. And there's gratification that comes with that. And ultimately, if you're gratified and you're sort of exuding the fact that you're enjoying this leadership position, yes, you will attract people to you. But 100% agree, never go in with what's in it for me.
Mhm.
It's what's in it for everybody else in the organization. That's what makes successful leadership work.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. So I hope that we've given our listeners some food for thought on this. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not promoting one or the other. I just think it's something we all need to think about. And okay, so one final. Okay, this is my final thought of tracking your results. It's vital no matter what you, and this just goes along with everything in business. This is just something else you need to track, how much you're putting in time wise, money wise, and what are the results that you're expecting. Are you doing what you need to do to get the results that you want? But this is another area to track your results, and over time, deciding if it's something to continue with or not to continue with. That's okay. I'm done. That's my final word.
I do also, I actually have a final thought too. You can't overlook joining organizations. Every business owner has a toolbox, anything from branding and marketing to your financials, to all of this has to be in sync to make the business grow.
Mhm.
But you really can't go it alone totally. And so I think it's fair to say that business owners should consider joining at least one organization, not just for the camaraderie, not just for the energy, but for enhancing one's skills. And I've seen people grow in organizations. I've seen people coming in all thumbs and being unable to stand up in front of a group and speak. And over a year or two, I've seen such growth. And it's magic to watch that. So there's so many benefits. And again, think of your business toolbox. I think that's my final thought too. So if we've said everything we have to say about answering the question of should you belong to organizations, I think we've given our ideas. And also, very important, we want you to tune in again for our next episode of Soapbox Business. Watch it, like it, comment, or share. See you then.
Soapbox Wisdom is hosted by brand messaging and storytelling consultant Barbara Menino and business and mindset coach Christine Rothdeutsch. You can find them online at barbaramenino.com and christinerothdeutsch.com.